So these sports with a twist, no script. Legends coming through on the guest list. TC, Minnesota, land of the lakes, full Green Bay. That's all I gotta say. Gotta score with the Wolves, you know we don't play. We get wild every single day. We got our flaws, but we love our saints. Twist name, go to like our page. Twist Nation.
Welcome in. What's going on?
Twist Nation. You know what time it is.
Episode 20.
Episode 20, and we need your help. We are the last of a dying breed here. Go to rtfsportsnetwork.com.
It's a dogfight.
We are hanging on by a very thin thread right now. So I'm gonna do it right now. I'm voting Twist. On and off the field was our main competition there for a while. They've gone back of the pack. Below the Mic has like over 800 episodes. They're gonna be tough. We're gonna need you, Twist Nation. So
yes, every computer
just voted. Phone. That's 2,300, and I was the fourth vote. We're still holding on at 41%, but Below the Mic is at 39%.
Bring it. Vote. Smash the vote. Just go and vote. Do something productive today.
Share the show. Let's just vote. I'm going to be bringing it up multiple times.
Yes.
I will stop this show so you can vote.
We will turn this show around and go home.
Yeah, we will.
I think we will.
So big show today, fellas. We episode 20. We hit a milestone.
Barry Sanders.
Barry Sanders.
Yeah. Very good, Greg. I'm very proud. I know Greg right now is very pumped up. I mean, we all are, but this next guest that we have today, the first one of the day, Dan Needles, coming to us. Greg, go ahead. Give us a little background from your fan favorite here, Dan Needles.
Dan the Man Needles.
Dan Needles, the sports director for the ABC affiliate in Milwaukee, Channel 12. A little backstory. Dan Needles and I also went to the same high school. Dan was also coached by my dad. He went to Oshkosh and then traveled around in different networks throughout Wisconsin, found his home in Milwaukee, and has been the sports director there forever. So if you're from the Milwaukee area, or ever get to the Milwaukee area, he's the sports guy.
Beautiful. Well, let's bring him in.
Dan, what's up, my friend? Welcome in.
Good morning, gentlemen.
How you doing?
Thank you very much for having me. I'm wearing a Milwaukee Brewers sweatshirt.
Perfect.
Oh,
perfect.
All right. We'll let it slide right there.
We'll let it slide. We don't mind.
I'm glad I rep my Twins hard today, then, Dan.
Nice. Hey,
nice.
Dan, I want to go ahead. Twins.
No, go ahead.
No, I was going
to say.
To Wisconsin,
you can tell how excited Greg is right now. He's been chomping at the bit. He's like, I got Needles on today, pumped up. He woke up probably at about 4:00 this morning.
Oh, yeah.
Just ecstatic. So it's awesome. We're happy to have you in. First thing, obviously, we've got questions for you. But first and foremost, this interview is brought to you and sponsored by Bricks Boat Works. Go ahead, Mike. Give them a little spiel on Bricks.
Oh, Bricks Boat Works is just your trusted local source for marine repair. Here in Minnesota, though, not in Wisconsin.
Yeah, they're expanding. They're conquering, so it's awesome. We just fell off of Twitter over there. That's all right. So go ahead. Okay, Dan, I want to get right to it. I'm not doing anything all day, every day, like pretty much everyone else. I've done maybe 450 mock drafts, and no matter how I do it, the Packers are always taking an inside linebacker. What position? I don't care what guy. What position do you think they're taking Thursday night?
I'm pretty sure it won't be a quarterback.
He's getting a little long in the tooth, though, Dan.
He is, but Aaron Rodgers is going to play, I would think, at least 4 more years. So if you pick a quarterback now, it will be like when they picked Rodgers, except Rodgers got picked in 2005, and he didn't take over until 2008. This guy might not take over for 4 or 5 years, and by then his rookie contract would be up, and then they'd have to re-sign him. So I think they'll probably pick one maybe in the 5th or 6th round, something like that. There's a guy from Wisconsin who went to Ashwaubenon High School, who played at Florida International, James Morgan, who's getting a lot of heat. And I know Sports Illustrated in their mock draft had him going to the Packers in the 5th round. A lot of people are saying wide receiver because there's such an abundance of wide receiver, and the Packers don't really have a number 2 right now. I'm guessing, based on the past, that the Packers will pick a wide receiver in the 2nd or 3rd round, or maybe both. They have 10 picks. In the past, guys that they took in the 2nd round, Greg Jennings, James Jones, Jordy Nelson, they've had so much success outside of the 1st round. They've only picked a wide receiver in the 1st round 4 times in their history since the combined draft. 3 of them turned out to be great. James Lofton, Sterling Sharp, Javon Walker was a Pro Bowler. The other one was a guy named Barry Smith that didn't turn out too well. I just don't see them picking one in the 1st round. So it could be an offensive tackle or it could be an inside linebacker. It all depends on what falls to them. I know that Kenneth Murray is a guy that a lot of people like out of Oklahoma. I don't know if he'll be available. There's a couple of tackles I think that are going to go really high in the draft. I think this is something that anybody that picks late in the 1st round, they have the same problem each year. They can do all the mock drafts they want, but with the number 3 and 4 picks up for grabs right now, it looks like the Lions may trade, the Giants may trade. Who knows what that does to the way the draft falls? Will there be a run on offensive linemen so that there's nobody 1st round worthy when the Packers pick? Will there be a run on inside linebackers? So it's so hard to tell what they're going to do. But I know in this draft, they will get at least one inside linebacker. They will get at least one offensive tackle, probably a guard or a center as well. They got to take a tight end at some point, and they have to get some wide receivers.
Since we're talking about offensive linemen, I want to go to the Wisconsin College then and check out Tyler. How do you pronounce his last name?
Biotish.
Okay,
Biotish.
Tyler Badass.
Yeah.
So what do you think about him, and can he move and play at the next level at other positions other than center?
I think he can play guard. The biggest concern with him right now, he had surgery after the Rose Bowl on his shoulder, and it wasn't major surgery, but because he hasn't been able to have pro days with any of the teams, they probably question whether they should take him in the 2nd round. He may end up being a 3rd or 4th round pick. We talked to his agent this week, a guy named Joe Panos, who was the captain of Wisconsin's Rose Bowl team in the 94 Rose Bowl. He's gone on to the agent business, and he represents, I think, 4 offensive linemen in this draft. And he's been working him out, and it's fortunate for Tyler because Joe is a former offensive lineman, so he knows all the drills. So he did his own little pro day that he videotaped, and then he was able to upload it. But the teams want to run him through physicals, and that may drop him down a little bit. He was a great player his junior year. His senior year, maybe not quite as good, but still an All-American. And I think he's probably the 2nd or 3rd rated center in the draft.
Yeah, he's a 3-star recruit, 6'3", 320, good-sized kid. The Vikes obviously need a lot of help at offensive line. We have a mock draft section of this show later on, and I think Benz and myself both have him picked going to the Vikes, and I did take him in the 3rd round, pick 105. So the badass and some perp, that's what we're hoping for. We need all the help we can get.
I think he would fit in very well in Minnesota. He has a nasty streak, as many Wisconsin offensive linemen have. The last great center from Wisconsin just retired, Frederick from the Cowboys. He was forced to retire because of injury. So he would be the next one in line. He's not dirty, but he's got a nasty streak. So I think they'd like him up in Minnesota if he does get drafted by the Vikings.
So speaking of the draft, what are you guys going to do? Like you can't just throw a microphone in someone's face at Lambeau or have the players close by. How are you guys going to do it? Like all your interviews and stuff.
We are still trying to figure this one out. The NFL did a conference call yesterday talking about the specifics of how the draft is going to work. And you can hear it, but until you see it, you're not really sure. Last night I watched the WNBA draft, which was held virtually. Mm-hmm. So it'll be the same kind of thing. They had the commissioner in her house announcing the pick. They had cameras in the living rooms of the top draft picks. And that worked out great for them, but there's only, I think, 2 or 3 rounds for the WNBA draft. For the NFL draft, 7 rounds. All those kids are getting picked. They only have camera kits in 58 of the players' houses. The rest, they'll get them on the phone. I'm not sure what it's going to look like on ESPN. It's all run out of ESPN studios. The NFL Network and ESPN are going to have the exact same broadcast, and I guess ABC is going to have something a little bit different, but not much different, just a different broadcast crew, and they're all going to be broadcasting at the same time. So they all want to talk to the kid after they get drafted for the first couple of rounds, but there will be plenty of those players selected. They won't have the camera there, so it'll be a phone interview. It will be completely different from what we've seen in the past. They can still do all the bells and whistles with the draft, with the video of the player, and ESPN has video on just about everybody who's going to get picked, and the NFL Network does. So we're relying on them. In the past, what we would do is we'd have a reporter camped out at Lambeau Field all through the draft. Every affiliate does it for every team. And you wait and you wait and you watch the draft, and then your team makes a pick. Then somebody comes out and talks about them, and then they get the player on a phone call. So it's not much different what it'll be this year. Back in the day when I first started, teams would bring their first-round draft pick in either the day of the draft or the next day. So in this case, you pick a guy on Thursday. On Friday, they'd bring him in for a news conference and show him off. They don't do that much anymore, and they certainly won't do it now. We may not see these guys physically until August. If they start training camp on time, we don't know. The teams that have veteran coaching staffs that have been in place are going to have a huge advantage than those with a new coach and a new staff, because I think of last year with Green Bay. They brought in Matt LaFleur and a brand new staff, and they had to work with those players right away, get them on board with the new offense, the new defense, everything. If you can't bring them in for mini camps and sit down and give them the playbook and study, get the studying going and running through plays on the field and stuff, that puts you so far behind. The veteran players will come in. They'll be fine, even if they're doing learning virtually, because they've done the on-field stuff before. These rookies, it will be a real quick learning curve for them, and it will be really difficult just trying to learn it like we're doing this right now. It's one thing to get it into your head. It's another thing to actually do it out on the field. So I'm really curious how this whole thing is going to work out. The NFL is going to be announcing their schedule May 9th or right around then. It's going to have to be several different schedules, because they're preparing for what if the season doesn't start on time. And they have a time set for when you'll be able to come in for training camp, but then they have to have a separate one for 3 or 4 weeks later. Yeah. So nobody really knows what this whole thing is going to look like, but the rookies are going to be the ones that are furthest behind, I think.
Yeah. So then let's switch gears over to Jonathan Taylor. Why is Jonathan Taylor not the Saquon Barkley of this draft, in your opinion?
Number one, there's a devaluation of running backs throughout the NFL. Outside of Christian McCaffrey and the contract he just got, if you're a top running back, you're not going to be getting anywhere near that. Melvin Gordon, another former Wisconsin guy, got $8 million a year from the Broncos, but it's not guaranteed money. And Mel Kiper Jr. was talking to us about Jonathan Taylor. He said if this was 1985, he'd be a top 15 pick in this draft. But nowadays, unless you are a Saquon Barkley, somebody with that absolute proven talent that they have no questions about coming out of the backfield, picking up blitzes, then they'd go high. But otherwise, you're not going to go till maybe the second round. Taylor is fast. I mean, he ran on the UW track team on the 4x100 relay. The questions are, can he hold on to the ball? He had, I think, 16 to 18 fumbles at Wisconsin. And he carried the ball a lot, but he showed the ability to put the ball on the ground. Can he catch the ball coming out of the backfield? I know in a game against Minnesota last year, he caught one, a deep pass coming out of the backfield, but it's the swing passes and things that he's had trouble hanging on to. And can he pick up the blitz? He never really had to at Wisconsin because he mostly just carried the ball. So he has to prove all of those things, but he's a phenomenal athlete. and he's durable. I think whoever picks him up, if it's the right system and they use him the right way, he could be a 1,200-yard back his rookie year.
So me being a diehard Minnesota Vikings fan, I hate everything Wisconsin and Packers, except for maybe Greg and now you, Dan. So the only thing I look, when it comes to Packers is who I do not want you to get. And a name that keeps popping up is Randy Moss's son, Thaddeus, as a potential second, third round pick to the Packers, which would absolutely devastate me. Do you think that would be a good fit for you guys? And do you see that working out?
He is one that I've heard. Another name that I've heard, Michael Pittman, although he's getting a lot of run all over the NFL as a second-round pick. What the Packers have a history of doing in the second round with these picks is, I remember, I think it was the third round, they picked James Jones, and everybody's like, who is James Jones? San Jose State? It's usually not the guys you expect them to pick. It's usually some other guy that they have done a lot of legwork with, and they haven't been able to do that this year. So it might end up being you take the safer pick rather than a guy that you project could be really good. So it may end up being something like Moss or Pittman, a little safer pick. They need some explosiveness. We saw some of that from Moss last year. They have Devontae Adams, who's a great wide receiver, but everything else after him, the talent level dropped way off. And a couple of years ago, they used 3 picks on wide receivers in the draft, and they didn't get a lot of production out of those 3. They may end up doing something like that again this year. They might take 3 more. Who knows? Sometimes you throw a lot of people at one problem, and you may pick 3, and if one of them works out, great. There's going to be a lot of draft picks that are mistakes this year, I think. And NFL GMs have been talking about that. They wanted to extend the draft even further rounds. Signing undrafted free agents is going to be more important than ever this year. And there's going to be a lot of guys who get passed over in the draft that will make rosters and end up playing really important roles on those teams. Was Adam Thielen one of those guys? Was he drafted or was he a free agent?
He was not drafted. Nope, he was. And the Vikings have a history of really hitting on their undrafted free agents, and so they do a good job at that. But yeah, Thielen was
Mankato boy.
Yep.
So now that we're switching to the good side of the border, I'll keep it on here. How intriguing for you is the new, fairly new culture of the Minnesota Golden Gophers football team?
We love to make fun of it here in Wisconsin, row the boat in circles. And you know what? The Wisconsin-Minnesota rivalry, when both are good, we haven't seen it for so long. And like this last year, there was so much buzz around that game. It'll never be Michigan-Ohio State. We know that. But for that division to be taken seriously, you need to have something like either Nebraska stepping up or Iowa and have a Nebraska-Iowa rivalry, Minnesota-Wisconsin, where they're both good, where they're all good. It makes it so much different because we have seen Wisconsin in basketball especially, but in football also, go into Minnesota and get some of those players out of there. It should get to the point where the Minnesota builds up a wall like when Barry Alvarez came in at Wisconsin. That was his first goal, to build a wall, because at that time, some of the best players were going to Michigan or Iowa. They weren't staying home at Wisconsin. He got them to stay at home. If he can keep the best players in Minnesota, and the same thing if Pitino stays there with basketball, it makes those rivalries so much better. It makes the conference so much better. Nobody likes it when it's every year the same teams winning. And I think that's been one good thing with Wisconsin's football becoming a national player. I wouldn't say a national power. They've never gotten to the national championship playoff yet, but they've been a player, and it keeps it from being just Michigan, Ohio State, Penn State. When they're good, again, it adds to that, and you can see it with Minnesota. You guys know how much talent there is in that state, and there always has been. And it's one thing for basketball, and it's the same thing in Minnesota as it is in Wisconsin. When you get a kid who is elite level, and they're getting recruited by Duke and Kentucky and North Carolina, they're not going to stay and play at Minnesota. They're not going to stay and play at Wisconsin. It's a rare chance to go to one of those programs. Okay, that's understandable. But when you've got a really good player from Minnesota and he goes to Wisconsin, or a really good player from Wisconsin and he goes to Minnesota or Iowa or Michigan, that hurts. And it hurts the relationships between the coaches in the high school level and the coach at the college level. A few years ago, Gary Anderson was the coach at Wisconsin, and he let that relationship with the high school coaches slip. And kids started going away. Nate Stanley goes to Iowa. You had I don't know the whole situation with James Morgan. He ended up going to Bowling Green and then Florida International. But Wisconsin doesn't produce a lot of Division I quarterbacks in the first place. And if they go somewhere else, that looks bad. So what P.J. Fleck has done, we saw it first when Wisconsin played Western Michigan in the Cotton Bowl and thought, oh, that's cute. Row the boat. And everybody made fun of it. You can't make fun of what happened last year, getting off to that start. And now the question is, was it a one-year thing? Will they be able to do it every year? Will they be able to add to that success with recruiting? Because obviously he's done a good job of getting some talented players to stay there and to come into there. If he does, it makes the Big Ten a completely different scene in football.
Yep. Great. Agreed. We appreciate it.
That's
awesome.
You know what, Dan, I really appreciate it. I know we do. This has been great. I want to have you back on after the draft, after they do something with the rest of the NBA season and finally give the Bucks their championship. I don't care if that's in August or November. I just want them to get their championship. But I want to have you back on and talk about all that.
Greg wants to make you the fourth host of the show, Dan.
Yeah, no doubt.
I need to even up the numbers.
Hey, you know what? I sit around right now. I still go into my our station and do a sportscast from in the studio. A lot of stations aren't doing that, but we only have a couple of people in there. But there's not a lot going on. Okay, so I'm free to talk anytime.
Awesome.
That's what we like to hear. I mean, no matter where you are in Wisconsin or Minnesota, you're still a part of the Twist family. So we appreciate that, and we hope you stay well, and God bless. All right, Dan?
All right, good luck, guys.
Thanks a lot, Dan.
We want to get you in our fantasy football league, too.
Oh, that as well. Yeah, we'll get you in on that.
All right.
Thanks a lot, Dan.
Take care, Dan.
All right. Beautiful.
Wow, Greg.
I'm going to fix Twitter.
Holy cow.
That's a whole lot of information.
Oh, man. Greg's half chub right now. It's freaking awesome. That's awesome.
Well, we're going to get our Border Battle Twist logo up there.
Yeah, let's get it going. Love it. Beautiful. Make sure you guys are sharing. I see we got some viewers right now. That's awesome. Make sure you're sharing this, letting your family become our family. That's what this is all about. Also, make sure you're going to RTF Sports Network, voting for us as the show of the month. We appreciate that as well. Don't forget, man, sharing is caring in this business, so we appreciate it very much.
I dare you to share.
Dare it. Smash it.
All right, second interview is a phone interview.
Beautiful.
With Twins Daily and KFAN Zone, John Bonus.
Johnny Bonus. Bring him in.
I was calling John Abraham.
Oh, we've been there, done that.
Been there, done that.
As well, but great John.
You just keep those numbers in your phone just
That's
to look
what
cool.
it's all about.
Yes, I do. And again, brought to you by Bricks.
Saltworks. Visit them. Lakes are thawing. The lakes are thawing out. Go call Bricks.
Been thawed.
They're working on it. I mean, it's still pretty cold out there. Johnny boy.
You're the ninth caller.
Johnny boy.
Hi, this is John Bones.
Oh, he'll call back.
Yep, he
All right.
will.
Roll into it.
Yep. Let's start it off.
Beautiful.
I see.
Look at that. Impeccable.
What are you working on, a breakfast sandwich over there, John?
No, phone just did not pick up. I don't know. I hit the little button and it just hung up on me.
I thought you were pulling the bacon out of the oven, bageling up with the cream cheese.
I want a breakfast sandwich so bad right now. I'm on my way to Taco Bell, to be honest.
Oh, there he goes.
Don't worry about it, John. Every time Mike calls me, I do the same thing when my phone rings with his name on it.
Well, John Bonus, welcome to Twist. Man, I mean, it's one thing hearing our favorite personalities on KFAN or listening to your podcast or reading an article on Twins Daily, but to have you in on the Twist show, we greatly appreciate that. So you said you're on your way to Taco Bell. What else have you been up to lately during this quarantine to stay well?
Well, we've been full steam ahead. I've actually been really proud of our writers on Twins Daily. They've been full steam ahead. We've been having 3 to 5 new stories every day, even during this complete shutdown. And, interest in the team is down, interest in baseball is down. But it's given them an opportunity to stretch their writing muscles, I think, a little bit. And that has been really cool to see what they kind of come up with. Whether it's Randall Stew's satire or we still have some analytical pieces or some minor league analysis. So that has been great, actually. I've been really excited about it.
So like the players are staying in the gym, you guys are still staying writing. It's
yeah, that's right.
Beautiful. So obviously the main question for you to start this off is, have you heard anything, whether it's, theories or opinions on what's going on with the season and is there going to be one?
Well, I mean, I've heard what you guys have heard.
Sure.
Right. I've heard a little bit of behind the scenes stuff. I think Major League Baseball is really serious and exploring these options of either doing something in Arizona or in Florida. I think they're trying to put the pieces in place so that once societal things clear up to the point where they can go and charge ahead, they will be ready to charge ahead. They don't want to be sitting waiting for stuff. I think they've been putting in orders for coronavirus tests. They have been contacting people about travel plans from foreign countries and how that's going to work. And I think they've been figuring out the logistics of a schedule if they have to shorten it and everybody has to be in Arizona, or if they can split that up between Arizona and Florida. And so I'm actually fairly optimistic that they're going to figure out something. I tend to be an optimistic person, though. So, you take that as you will.
Now, John, I did see an article that you wrote on Twins Daily, and it was about the doctor, and it was it 15,000 corona antibody tests, and that he wanted to involve the MLB. If you could elaborate a little bit on that article, I'd appreciate it.
Yeah, that's interesting. So, it wasn't my article. It was something that I retweeted from somebody else. But the idea was that one of the labs or third parties that Major League Baseball partners with to do their PED testing, besides being the owner of that company or a member of that company, he also is an epidemiologist. I think I can say that word.
Yeah.
and as a result, he went and got 15,000 of these antibody tests, and then approached Major League Baseball with them and said, how about you guys want to do a study on how many people already have antibodies to Major League or to the coronavirus? And so they started testing something like 15,000 Major League employees, some players, some front office members, some, what is that? That's 500 people across each team, right?
Right.
Okay, there's 15,000, 3,330.
Yeah.
So, that's a big chunk of people, and those tests go fast, and they can do them fairly quickly. And so they expect to have results as soon as the end of this week. It's interesting for two reasons. The first one, the more larger societal one, is we're kind of flying blind on this in a lot of ways. I've got opinions on why that is, but bottom line is they're flying blind on a lot of this stuff, and it's really one of the reasons we had to do a complete shutdown. One of the things that's important is how many people who might have antibodies and are already immune to the disease, and that is actually something that another article came out today saying, just because you have antibodies doesn't necessarily mean you're immune to the disease, unlike some other ones, but they're just not sure if that's true or not. But anyway, we don't really have any idea what percentage of the overall population has already had this. Because of the shortage of tests, they're really only testing people that it's really important to know, and that is particularly healthcare workers. So those case counts that you see in the newspaper, New York Times, or Minnesota Department of Health, etc., those are we know those are a fraction of the people who have had it. And then there's also people who are asymptomatic that have it. So bottom line is, this is a study that Major League Baseball kind of jumped into, initiated, and could really provide some valuable information regarding the extent and where we are in the process of battling this thing. And I thought it was super cool that they're involved. Now, they probably have an alternate motivation as well. They want to know how many of their own people have it as well and might be immune in case they decide they want to actually start a season. Right. One of the challenges here is, not just keeping the 30 players that are on the roster healthy, but keeping all the people around them healthy. And some of those people might might not be 28-year-olds in the peak of their health. So if they end up having to go this Arizona or Florida route, they're not just going to be quarantining the 30 players; they're going to be quarantining all the people around the 30 players, I think.
Well, I think they should just evacuate Arizona as a whole and bring every sport there. And they can just have all of Arizona and football and basketball and just everything in Arizona, everybody else out, and we'll be fine.
I love that plan, except that gives me a bunch of Arizona people walking around the rest of the country.
Oh.
Take my shit.
Well, that's better than Wisconsinites. So
yeah.
We'll go there.
Good point.
Just kind of going into the Twins roster as we speak, what's the rotation looking like for you right now? I know the longer we wait, I believe is it Rich Hill that we have that, when's he expected to come back?
Right. Yeah.
The longer we delay.
A couple of different pitchers that they were hoping that would be back during the season. For some of them, this is working out well, and for some, it's not, right? But one that's working out well for is Rich Hill, who is going to be supposedly better in June or July. Well, now that could be the beginning of the season, which would be great. On the other hand, they were waiting on Michael Pineda, and they thought they would get Michael Pineda back by the middle of May because by then his 40-game TED suspension would be done. Well, now that suspension is going to extend into 40 games into whatever the shortened season is. So, it might be that you gain Rich Hill, but you lose Michael Pineda for a good chunk of the season.
I did want to ask that. So suspensions won't decrease if the amount of games played in that season do? If it's...
That is correct.
Okay. I didn't know that. That's interesting.
That was one of the things that came out of the Major League Baseball and Major League Baseball Players Association agreement is they're not reducing that. However, what I've heard, and I haven't seen it actually reported, but what I've heard is that if they don't play the season at all, Pineda doesn't have to serve the suspension next year.
Ooh.
Okay. Well, let's not hope for that.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. Right.
So then, also we got Sano moving to first base. That's correct. So,
yeah, that's right.
When you were down in training camp, how did you see him? I know he's played it there before, but still, are you confident in him there?
I am confident in there. Now, I think there's going to be some growing pains.
Yeah.
Am I confident that he's going to be, Joe Mauer quality first baseman or Doug Minkiewicz level quality first baseman? No, I'm not. But and frankly, he might even be a below average first baseman for the first half of the season or something like that. But everything we know about Miguel Sano is that he's an athlete. He's a guy who played shortstop when they signed him. Right now, he's a 300-pound, 280-pound shortstop at this point. But I don't, what Twins first basemen have to be particularly good at doing is digging the ball out of the dirt because you got Polanco's arm and Luis Arraez's arm, and we don't have a lot of strong arms around the infield right now. And picking a ball out of the dirt is something that third basemen should be able to do. So I think we will probably have some errors, and we will all dwell on them, and there'll be some flare-ups. There'll be a lot of concern, but I don't think we're going to repeat the 2016 season when he was in right field and just looked lost out there. I think he is an infielder, he is an athlete. I think he's got a chance not only at eventually becoming a very good first baseman.
Yeah, and I think his bat will definitely make up for his blunders in the field. So that's easily said. So obviously,
on the other side of the pitching mound, then we brought in a big stick in Josh Donaldson. There was just a lot of talk of kind of his off the field mentoring. He had came out and said he really wants to make an impact on this ball club long after he's done. And that's one of the things that's tough about this season is we're coming off a historic year last year, and now we're playing the waiting game as Twins fans. We're excited. We bring in somebody like Josh Donaldson, really making a bunch of moves to try to impact this ball club for a better year, and now we're kind of in limbo. Can you touch on the addition of him to the team and what that brings to us?
Yeah, I mean, you take a historic offense and you add Josh Donaldson for CJ Cron. Well, that's a plus.
Yeah.
I mean, right. That's pretty good. And there's some other things too. You got a full year of Luis Ariz, which I'm kind of excited to see. You will have Miguel Sano hopefully missing the first third of the year. We get to see a full year out of him. We can see if Byron Buxton stays healthy. And you've got some potential bats in the corner outfield spots that could be moving up at some point. Like if Eddie Rosario struggles, do we get to see Kirilloff? Do we get to see Larnick? Do we get to see Brett Rooker? Like there's a bunch of different options that we got. They're really loaded offensively, and I'm excited to see what can end up being there. Yeah, Josh Donaldson brings a ton. He brings a huge boost in offense over CJ Cron, and more importantly, he brings a huge boost in defense. Or maybe not more importantly, but as importantly, he maybe brings a huge boost in defense over Miguel Sano at third base. So, yeah, there's a lot to be excited about. That's why this is such a bummer.
Yeah, well, we greatly appreciate you stopping by with us today, John. You're a part of the Twist family now, so that's awesome. And hopefully once this season gets going, or when we get an announcement leading into it, hopefully we can get you on for a little bit here and there just to be our Twins guy, because you are the @Twins geek. So that's what it's all about.
I would love to anytime.
Awesome. Well,
get some burritos.
John. Yeah, get you some Taco Bell and enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Order me a chili cheese burrito.
Yeah, all right. I'm on board.
Thanks, man.
Thanks, John. Take care.
Beautiful. Beautiful. He called back like a beast.
Oh, right away. He was probably just put his order in. So
yeah, now his food's cold.
No big deal.
Screw those Twist guys. All right. Headlines for the week. Here we go. Number one, top high school player Jalen Green enters the NBA G League pathway. California high school star Jalen Green, the number one prospect in the 2020 ESPN 100, is making the leap to a reshaped NBA professional pathway program. He'll receive $500,000 plus he will also be able to get, help me with it, in endorsements. Yes. He also has that opportunity. So that's awesome to see that there's a different pathway. I wish he was going to college, but who knows what's going on with college hoops.
I heard he's going to get a face mask endorsement.
Might as well.
Actually, one thing I did hear about that new program, the new revamp program, is these guys are eligible. They can take college classes. It won't be at a Duke or North Carolina. It will be in the area where they're playing, but they will have tutors and things like that. So these guys will be able to get an education as well.
That's the unfortunate part about it, though, as well, is that these guys are going to be in Podunk, USA with these teams, so not a lot of flash, not a lot of things like that, but it may change. Also, go ahead.
You don't need an education when you're rolling around with 500 stacks of cash. So
hopefully you get a financial advisor.
Yes.
Headline number 2, 5-star forward Isaiah Todd decommits from Michigan. Will look to play pro. His mom, Marlene, thanks, Marlene.
Oh, Marlene, yeah.
Says they're exploring pro routes and they have not made their decision on whether to go overseas or to join the Jalen Green aspect and go to the G League.
He going to Italy.
He's going to get paid somewhere.
And that's what the G League really wants, is these players staying here and developing, under their kind of tutelage. So it'd be fun to get these high prospects merging together. So there's actually some good play ball.
Taking some money away from the NCAA.
Yeah, good.
Look out, ballers.
Even though they're trying to pay them too.
That's what it's all about. Number 3, Broncos star Von Miller tests positive for the Rona. He says, it's true. I've just been here in the crib, and I started to get a little cough. You know, I have asthma, and I started getting a little cough a couple of days ago. My girlfriend said she heard me when I was sleeping, and I was coughing, and it didn't sound normal. Sure enough, he's got the Rona.
Oof.
He says, stay inside. This is real. Yeah, it is real. Correct. All right. Number 4.
Thanks for the great advice.
Yeah, that's what
Appreciate it,
we're
Bob.
sitting here together.
Sharp as a tack. All right. Number 4, Jazz's Mike Conley beats Bulls' Zach Levine for the horse title.
Oh, epic game. Epic showdown.
That's a title you cannot win, Mike. So that's all
challenge
I'd say.
accepted.
Mike Conley's ability to use both his left and his right
And
hand.
be indoors. He's the only one who's got his own indoor court.
Well, it propelled him to win the NBA's first horse competition, which many are saying is going to take the spot of the dunk competition in the All-Star game.
Wow.
I doubt that.
Something to chew on. Number
a lot of
5.
excitement.
Number 5. The Last Dance is set to air episode 1 and 2 tomorrow night on ESPN. You can catch the unedited version, so there will be cussing
Just what like
on
Greg likes it.
ESPN, and then you can go over to ESPN 2 if you got the kids watching and you don't want them to hear that, because there will be cussing.
Unedited like you porn or
Either or, yeah.
I think a lot of F-bombs by old MJ.
just the language.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
It's just a language thing.
Yeah, not censored. They're censored. Yeah,
There won't
we'll
be
go
any
with that.
beeps.
Parental advisory. That's what they
TVMA.
say. So yeah, that's the headlines for the week. Thank you.
Well, now it is time to get learned, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, here we go.
Bring it in.
The soothing sounds
It is.
of the knowledge coming out of Mike Reeves' mouth. Get learned.
Someone's going to get learned.
All right. Today in history. Today is April 18th. Way back in 1908, Tommy Burns knocks out Dewey Smith in 5 rounds for the heavyweight boxing title.
Feel the burn.
Dewey. 1946, Jackie Robinson debuts as a second baseman for the Montreal Royals. 1950, Sam Jethro is the first African-American to play for the Boston Braves. 1962, 16th NBA championship between the Boston Celtics and LA Lakers. Boston defeats the Lakers 4-3. 1966, Bill Russell becomes the first African-American coach in NBA history for the Boston Celtics. 1968, the first ABA basketball championship begins. Greg was there live. Greg, what does ABA stand for?
The American Basketball Association.
Wow, good for you. That doesn't count as a point for the game that's coming up.
Thank God.
1987, Mike Schmidt hits his 500th home run versus the Pirates. 1991,
Schmitty.
John No Short Stockton breaks his own NBA season assist record at 1,136.
Short.
What a stud, just out there breaking his own records, looking at his kneecaps. Oh, man. Love
Fishing
it.
the rock.
Thighs for days.
1995, quarterback Joe Montana announces his retirement from foosball. Ugh. 1998, NFL draft. The Tennessee quarterback Peyton Manning was the first pick by the Indianapolis Colts. The year after, in 99, Wayne Gretzky plays his last game in the NHL as his New York Rangers lose 2-1 to the Pittsburgh Penguins.
The great one.
In 2008, NBA owners give approval to a potential Seattle Supersonics relocation to Oklahoma City in a 28-2 vote. Now, if money doesn't talk, that's the
Yeah, I was
proof.
going to say, none of those votes are from Seattle.
Oh,
'cause they're
my
still
God.
pissed.
And then we got some birthdays. Couple birthdays. 1963, Conan O'Brien, American TV host, was born in Massachusetts. And my favorite, not of the Kardashians, but of the birthdays, Kourtney Kardashian Born in 1979. I'm more of a Kim.
Also,
Bet you are.
I'd like to give a shout out to my niece Maya, who turned 17 today. Happy
Shout
birthday,
out.
Maya.
There you go, Maya.
Stay off the roads because Maya is on them.
Yes.
Yikes.
It's in Colorado, so I think we're safe over here.
You Maya want to stay off the roads.
Yeah. Boom.
There we go.
Love it.
Let's get this off here. Let's fire this up.
Fire it up.
All right.
Woo! It's game time, folks.
Oh, there you go, Greg. Greg just threw out his back.
It's game time.
All right.
Greg.
Welcome into another edition of Rapid Fire.
Matt.
Greg.
Matt.
Multiple choice trivia
right.
edition.
Go.
Greg.
So they seem to remember how to play the game. There are 9 questions. Again, this is multiple choice. I will read fast because this is rapid fire. Question number 1. Which sport is a lot like softball?
Matt.
Greg.
Baseball.
It's multiple choice.
Oh.
I go first.
No, that's is my answer.
Football, hardball, baseball, squash.
Greg.
Matt.
Greg.
Baseball.
I didn't
You
need
should-
the ball for choice.
You
I already
do.
knew it.
Nope, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Point GBG. I should be giving negative points out for
There you go.
Trigger Mike over here.
Yeah, whatever.
Question number 2. Which sport is not an extreme sport? Dirt biking, skateboarding, rock climbing, gymnastics.
Greg.
Matt.
Gymnastics.
Boom. Rapid fire. Tie. 1-1. Question number 3. Which sport uses a net, a racket, and a shuttlecock? Volleyball, tennis, badminton,
Matt.
cricket.
Badminton.
You didn't wait to see me.
No.
2-1.
I get took twice here, Greg.
2-1. Do not answer before I am done
No.
reading.
Oh, the cheat.
2-1. Question number 4. They're fired up over here. Let's get loud. Woo! Question number 4. Based on the number of people who play it, what is the most popular sport in the world? Is it golf, bowling, soccer,
Greg.
basketball?
You didn't wait.
Yeah, I did.
Nope.
You'll
Or
watch it later
basketball?
and you won't see. Matt.
Matt,
Soccer. You'll watch it later and you'll hear it.
you both fired in before I was done.
Yeah, so why did he get to go first?
I had to say it
He
again.
didn't. He had to say it again.
Okay.
The option was
3-1.
open. Come on, Greg.
I'm going to start giving points to Doge. Question number 5. Which sport doesn't use a ball? Golf, polo, hockey, tennis.
Greg.
Greg.
Hockey.
That's right.
Good job, Greg. Good job.
And he rang in right. All right. So it's 3-2 with 4 questions remaining. It's anybody's game, folks. Question number 6. Which sport figure holds the record for appearing the most times on the cover of Sports Illustrated? Is it Derek Jeter, Tiger Woods, Michael Jordan, or LeBron James? Greg.
Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan was on the cover a record 47 times. News later came out that he owns it, which wouldn't surprise me.
3-3. It just got real.
We got a 3-3 tie, folks, with 3 questions remaining. These are going to get much tougher. Question number 7. The maximum weight of a golf ball. Is it 1.4 ounces, 1.5 ounces, 1.6 ounces, or 1.7 ounces?
Matt.
1.4
ounces.
Greg. 1.6 ounces.
Ooh! GBG takes the lead with 2 to go. Question number 8. How many panels make up a soccer ball? Is it 30, 32, 38, or 46? Matt.
32.
It's a tie game with 1 question to go. Oh, folks, this is good right here. All right, question number 9. How many stitches are on a baseball? Calm down, Greg.
I think I know this.
Is it 96, 108, 122, or 148?
Greg, I think it's 122. I think I've heard this before.
Oh, Matt!
Damn it! I actually.
Is it 96? Is it 108? Is it 122 or is it 148?
Matt, 108. The Benz Bender, baby! You think I'm not here to win? Oh, let's go. Is that 3 weeks in a row?
That is 3 weeks in a row.
Three-peat. Call me Jordan.
You got a little dance going on there.
Sit down.
Wow, congratulations.
Ooh.
The belt still remains with Benzino. Proud of you.
Show me the money.
All right, time for our sports rants. Who wants to kick it off this week, fellas?
Let's go to the opposite side. I always start.
All right, losers start first.
All right.
Oh, losers.
All right, I'm gonna bring this. I'm gonna tie this all into sports
Uh-oh.
eventually.
Eventually. Ooh.
First of all, my rant this week is don't be a sheep. We're hearing stuff all the time with COVID-19, and people are doing this, people are doing that, people are following anyone under the sun. If your job title and your employer involves the initial CDC or WHO, I'm going to listen to you.
Or GBG.
Or GBG. But if your name is Cletus and you live in your mom's basement, sorry, I don't give a rat's ass what you say about Corona. Not only that, but I understand that we live in a society where there's separate political parties. People have allegiances to one or the other. You know what? The majority of the people in this country voted for a certain person. And I'm not talking about the guy who lives in the White House. He's one of them. Your governors, your mayors, all these people, they were voted in. No matter who it is now, everyone has a problem with anyone that gets in front of a microphone. These people are instructed by people from the CDC and the WHO as to what to do in these situations. Listen to them. I don't care who you voted for. Listen to them. This is like in the sports world. Buying your Tom Brady jersey, cheering for him for 16 weeks in the season, cheering for him in the playoffs, and then the Super Bowl, you just think, you know what? I don't give a crap about him. Get in the backup. No, this is what you elected this guy for, whoever it is, man, woman, white, black, whoever it is. This is what you elected him for. This period in our lives, listen to them. Do what they say. Done.
Good job, Greg. Yeah.
Drop the mic. Wow. Well, I'm going to bring it down a notch. So I had the pleasure this morning of logging on to a Rise with the Guys. I was actually supposed to be there today until the Rona impacted everything. I hate you, Rona.
F you, Rona.
Yeah, seriously. So a little quote by Tony Dungy. Again, a Rise with the Guys follows faith and God through sports. You know, and with everything going on with all these CJ McCullens out there bitching about a paycheck. You know, these guys were all sitting there talking about, you know, their faith and their rise through God. We should never be afraid to take the tough road, to follow a higher calling or set a higher standard. In short, we should never be satisfied with being average. We should strive to be uncommon. That's what we do here at Twist. We strive to be uncommon, follow the righteous path. The only person following under the sun, not GBG, G-O-D.
Close enough.
Love it. Love it. Good.
That was good. That was upbeat.
God is good.
Yeah.
All right. So my rant
Oh.
is on Michael Jordan.
Ooh.
The MJ.
His airness.
Michael Jordan. You know, say that out. So he went on Good Morning America this week and talked about how he's really worried about The Last Dance impacting his character or how people think of him. Mike, sorry to say it, but you were never the good guy. And that's what made you so entertaining to watch. You were the villain on the court. You were electric. You took over games. You trash talk. You punched your teammates in the face. You did what you have to do. I was watching before the show today a bunch of clips from MJ trash talking, getting into it. From good guys like Reggie Miller. You know, Gary Payton was always talking trash too. But guys like that, you know, pinnacles in the league, and he was always a step above. But that doesn't mean that he was a good guy. LeBron James, Great guy on and off the court. Still
Yeah.
cusses here and there,
Perfect.
but a good guy. All right?
Basically a perfect human being.
Well, I wouldn't go that far, but you know what I mean? So MJ, to say that, I hope it was just a publicity stunt. I hope it was to give you hype for a different, target market on Good Morning America for them to watch and be like, oh, maybe Michael isn't what we thought he was. Well, if you thought he was a good guy, you never watched because you didn't watch to see a good guy. You watched to see one of the best ever.
He punched a teammate. Good for him.
Steve Kerr.
Yeah.
Got him a bunch of rings because he probably got punched in. That's osmosis. That's what happens. You get punched by MJ, you become a god. So that's what happens. So there's that. That's my rant for the week.
Yeah.
Can't wait to watch it. But yeah, Mike,
Go swim in your pile
don't
of
get
money.
soft now, Mike.
You suck, you jackass.
I wouldn't say you suck, but
At life.
2 billion says otherwise. But
Yeah.
yeah, no big deal. Good stuff. Good rants.
Yeah.
Wow. From Rona to Faith to MJ.
Pretty good. Pretty good
Wow.
stuff.
There you go.
Put your hands together for the twist topics of the week.
Oh, time for the twist topics.
Yeah.
Twist topic number 1.
Will the XFL be back after filing for bankruptcy? Are they donezo?
According to a prominent former XFL staffer who was on the call, Pollock stopped short of saying the league was going out of business. But the strong implication was clear. It's done, the staffer said. It's not coming back.
It's over.
It's a wrap.
Yeah, I think that, Vince McMahon was willing to invest a lot of money into it, but he's getting a little old. He actually cut a lot of WWE employees this week as well. So I think that he's looking to secure the investment for his kids instead of throwing money at something that's just going to be now even longer out before they start seeing profits from it. So yeah, I think it's over.
Right. It was a fun
Experiment
for him, but you can't go against the NFL. There's not enough fans out there to get loyal to a complete new league. Yeah, it's fun, but at least the WWE is essential in Florida now.
Yeah,
so
no
that's
kidding.
all that matters. Beautiful.
Yeah. Thanks again, Rona.
Appreciate it. At least he's got
Twist
Gronk.
topic number 2.
Does Christian McCaffrey's contract spell the end for Dalvin Cook after this year in Minnesota?
I think so, because I think that what people don't understand, or people like Dalvin Cook, like Kamara, is this contract was for Christian McCaffrey. It's not like quarterbacks where it sets the bar for who comes after him. Christian McCaffrey is such a unicorn at that position that you're not going to base all these other guys, Dalvin Cook and Kamara, and these guys are going to try to base their contract off of his, and it ain't happening. So, yeah, I think it is done for him. I think that these teams are going to go after guys like Jonathan Taylor, guys that they can lock up for 5 years.
Sure. So, you got CMC's contract averaging him $16 million. 15 is closest to him with Zeke. 13 is Le'Veon. Derrick Henry, 10.2. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I don't see it. I don't see how we can pay him. Now, all the articles say differently. They say he's their guy. They're working on it. They're going to get it done. How? Where's the funds? I don't see it. And especially if you're Dalvin, how do you not hold out this year? What's he supposed to get? Like $2 million this year to play? It's like
chump change, right, CJ?
It's chump change. I can't support my family on $2 million.
$2 million? You gotta be kidding me.
Not only
Paycheck
that,
to paycheck.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
week.
got to stay healthy, so I don't see him playing.
Yeah, if the Vikes do sign him there, he hasn't proven that he can stay healthy. I think if you find a contract more suitable to maybe like a Kenyon Drake, $8 million, like Dan the Man Needles said, a Melvin Gordon, but we're not breaking the bank. I mean,
A Mark Ingram, $5 million.
there you go.
Come on.
A milli.
That's it.
Twist topic number 3.
This might be the only time you ever hear us discuss this on this show, but top free agent in NASCAR Kyle Larson was fired after a racial slur that might cost him close to 8 figures. Was this too harsh?
No. And
Ooh.
I think the reason why is because when it comes to something like this, I can honestly and confidently say I have never misused the N-word in my life. When you just blurt out something like that, it's a reflection of your character. And I think that's what they're firing him for that. To say something like that in a moment of passion says more about your character than anything else. And I think that's why they got rid of him.
Yeah, definitely. We all agree on that.
That's all the time we have for you, your racial.
Yeah.
Twist topic number 4.
Tight end for the Tampa Bay or the Tampa Brady or the
Tampa Bay?
Yep. OJ Howard is reportedly being shopped. Why are they finally shopping him now that Tom Brady's there? And where could he potentially land?
Because Bruce Arians doesn't know how to use him, period. He doesn't want to use him. He doesn't know how to use him. And not only that, but he's got value. I mean, how many teams in the league need tight ends right now?
I know one.
Do you?
Oh, God.
Where do I see him going, or where do people that are more intelligent than me see him going? A lot of people are saying the favorite right now is the Redskins. They also got the Bengals. Why not get Joe Exotic something to throw to?
Absolutely.
And then Pack, of course, they're in the running for it. I mean, they usually miss on tight ends, so we'll go for next with that. Patriots, and then the Dolphins, since the Dolphins are just gimme right now. I mean, why not? So they got Gesicki, but
good white boy.
Good, yeah. Oh, jeez. But yeah, all right, we'll go with that. But yeah, I could see him going to a lot of places. He's got value. I see him being moved day one of the draft. Hot take. So to move up, I see them getting rid of him or to get some value. So hot take. You probably didn't hear it here first.
Yeah, when you bring in a guy like Brady, you got to find places to save money. And they can get rid of a guy like him in that contract and then bring in one of these guys that we were talking about earlier with Dan, one of these tight ends that you can pick up in the second or third round to fill that spot. And just, all Brady has to do is say, run out there 12 yards, take a 90-degree left and stand on him and throw the ball to the numbers.
Not only that, but I mean, you got all these threats in Tampa Bay.
Well, first off, Greg, he's in his 3rd year.
Yeah.
So he doesn't cost anything.
No, but I'm saying that he's going to start costing you money
in 2 years.
Yeah, sooner. Though.
Sure.
Yeah, 4 years.
Yeah, so he'll be able to ride it out with Brady. I think it's ridiculous
Who's
that you get rid of him.
OJ's, I guess, expendable.
I see. Go to the Colts. That's where I'd like
Phillip
to see
Rivers.
him. Yeah.
They got a lot of tight ends out there, though.
Whatever. Eric P. Brown.
Joe Doyle. Jack Doyle.
He ain't my white boy.
Shout out Joe Doyle.
Number 5.
A lot of rumbling in the jungles here about OBJ to the perp. We had to bring it up, okay?
Yeah,
we got to talk about it. Why not?
Sure.
Would he be a good fit? Go.
Would he be a good fit?
Yeah.
To me, personally, I like OBJ. I like him in purple. I feel like he's been more mature. Now I said, more mature in the fact that he's being a good soldier out there, and he didn't come forward necessarily through Twitter, things like that, saying he wants out. All the people that I'm listening to on the herd, things like that, they're stating that their sources say he wants out.
First off, Sean, you can't even see it. That's glass.
Yeah, you don't see
the glass?
Plexiglass, right?
Go
Sorrow, come on,
social
kid.
distance yourself to
Think it's
ESPN
not?
too, Sean.
This is all projected. We're in our houses.
We're not
right
even
now. This is
here.
freaking images.
It's 2020.
Sorrow.
God,
I'm
Twist.
actually
We got
the
that
hologram.
Twist Money hologram.
To follow up on what Matt was saying, I don't think it's going to happen, and I don't think it'd be a good idea. You guys have been preaching to me for months since we started doing this show that Kirk Cousins is a creature of habit. And what you don't want to do with a creature of habit is bring in a guy like OBJ who will change his mind on what he wants 15 times in the first quarter of a game. You need consistency. You need guys like Adam Thielen and Rudolph. guys that are going to just do the same thing according to the plan. So I don't know. Not that I'm a Vikings fan. I just don't think it's a good fit having Cousins as your quarterback with a guy like OBJ. It didn't work out for Diggs. Why would this be any different?
You talked to your mother with that mouth?
Jesus.
Wow.
That's a hot take.
Send them.
Thanks for joining on, Greg.
Unbelievable,
What
Greg.
did they say?
Holy cow.
Woo! All right. Well, the NFL draft is next week. And what about 3, 4, 13, 14 episodes ago?
Couple 13, 14.
We did a little mock draft, so we figured we would update it. 7-round mock draft for
2.0.
our special teams. We're going to end the show with our envisions. I think we're going to start with Ben's. We're going to go down the line from best to worst. Because Greg, you suck.
Let Greg go first.
No, he sucks. He goes
All right.
last.
All right, we'll go first. So at number 22, I've got Gross Matos, edge, Penn State. Like him, he's long, athletic, disruptor, 6'5", 266 pounds, 9.5 sacks last year. Bring him in. Love it. All right, 25, I've got Isaiah Wilson, tackle for Georgia. Gigantic, but moves like he's much smaller, effective on combo blocks. Strong anchor. Bring him in.
So we're right on the nose right there, except different positions.
Correct.
I have a D end and an offensive lineman, first 2 picks too.
Love it. Number 58, steal of the draft. Hear it out. Michael Pittman Jr., wide receiver, USC. Large frame, reliable hands. Love it.
Is he 6'6"?
Don't got his height. All I know, he had 11 TDs last year for 1,275 yards receiving.
Okay.
So 101 catches. Beautiful. Love it. Let's bring him in. Steal of the draft. 89. It pains me to say this because me and Greg do have a water bet. For those of you that don't know, a water bet is if I say something's going to happen and Greg says it's not going to happen, whoever wins gets to throw a cup of water.
5-gallon bucket.
A cup of water into the other person, the loser's face.
Which is going to be Ben's.
Our water bet stated that Jake Fromm would go in the first round. I'm still praying that
it didn't state.
Something
You stated.
happens. So at 89 in this mock draft, I have Jake Fromm coming to the Minnesota Vikings to get taught by Kirk. So
Tutelage.
yep, that's what it's all about. That's what he needs, unfortunately. At 105, I've got Michael Oji Muda. Yeah. Cornerback, Iowa. Physical, long corner with athletic build. At 132, I got Tyler Badass. Inside offensive line for Wisconsin. 155, I've got James Lynch, defensive lineman out of Baylor. He had 13.5 sacks last year.
Ooh.
He is also the all-time sack leader for Baylor. Like that. 201, Lamar Jackson, not the quarterback, the cornerback. Nebraska, he's 6'2", 208 pounds. Love that pick. 205, Carter Coughlin. Roll the boat. Got him, 205. Edge, but like me and Mike were saying, we'll move him outside linebacker. That seems like he'll fit.
Linebacker.
219, I got John Runyon, offensive tackle, Michigan. Bring him in. He's senior, 6'4", 306 pounds, well fed. 249th pick, we've got Kamal Martin, another roll the boat and bring him in. And then at 253, Jalen Elliott, safety, Notre Dame senior, 49 tackles, 2 picks last year. That's a great draft. I'll take it. Mike?
Lovely. All right, so like I said, my first 2 rounders, I went edge, 6'6", 285 star AJ Epinesa.
Love it.
From Iowa. I do like Gross Matos, but if AJ's sitting there and we do stand pat, again, this is based on no trades throughout the draft. I like AJ a lot better than Yatur Gross Mata. I also took a tackle, Austin Jackson. He has a heartfelt story that was on ESPN last week, too. He helped save his sister's life. He's a big 6'6", 310 tackle. Now, my second round pick, Ben says he has the steal of the draft. I have us taking inside defensive lineman Raekwon Davis out of Alabama. This dude is 6'7", 312 pounds. You put him and AJ right there?
What round?
Oh, my God. The second.
Whew.
Third round, KJ Hill out of Ohio State. The Ohio State wide receiver.
What number you have, man?
89, third round.
Okay.
Then I also took Tyler Badass out of Wisconsin with my second third-round pick at 105.
Yeah.
Slide him into a guard, 6'3", 320, big frame.
Yep. Corn-fed.
Another Ben's pick, also mine, is Michael Olowokandi
Ojimuda.
whatever, cornerback out of Iowa with my fourth round, 132. Fifth round, 155, Lamar Jackson. Another one of the Ben's picks. We were on the same page for a lot of these.
Yep.
High five to you. Skull. Lamar Jackson, 6'2", 205, 4-star. Get him in the fifth round. We're hitting on a lot of these on my drafts.
Fold them.
Another huge steal of the draft right here. Sixth round, 201. Don't forget the name. It's Big Trey Adams out of Washington. 6'8", 315 pounds, 4-star recruit.
Love it.
I'm getting another starter on the defensive line in the sixth round. Another Raekwon, but this one with a Q, not a K. Williams out of Michigan State. Now, these picks are literally starters for us. I'm solidifying our team for years to come to beat Green Gay. Okay, that's what we're doing. Up here in the corner, see that? The perp, we're trying to take the green. All right? Pick 219 in the seventh round. AJ Green, not the Bengal, the Oklahoma Stater, cornerback.
Hook 'em.
Second, seventh round pick, our boy Carter Coughlin.
Row the boat.
And the exact same pick as Ben's with the last pick in the seventh round, the safety, Jalen Elliott. Notre Dame, drop the mic. Screw you, Greg. We're going to end the show. We don't even want to hear it. We already had needles on. We're just ending.
All right. I'm going to do my picks. It's not based on what I think Minnesota is going to do because a lion doesn't trouble himself with the problems of a zebra.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
30th pick, with no trades, I still think that they're going to get Kenneth Murray, the linebacker from Oklahoma.
Dan said he's not going to be there.
Yeah, I know, and I agree, but we did this based on no trades. So, and he's available when I did this 35 times this week. Second round pick, number 62, they're going to go with the tight end out of Notre Dame, Cole Clement. 94. That's why I asked Mike. I got KJ Hill going from the wide receiver from Ohio State going in 94. Mike has him going 5 picks earlier. And I got Jack Driscoll from Auburn, offensive tackle, going to 136. Going down the list, I'm just going to go right to pick 208, which is where I think they're going to take Shea Patterson.
Please do.
I think they're going to go with the quarterback
Best
from
player
Michigan.
on our team.
He's trash.
I think that they're going to take him, do exactly what Needle said, let him sit for 4 years. They don't have to pay him a crap ton of money.
Sure.
Yeah, don't swear, Greg, with your Wisconsin potty mouth.
No, hey, it's clean here. So those are the highlights of mine. I got to go get the kids.
About as clean as a can of Old Milwaukee's Best.
Oh, my gosh.
Woo! Old Swell, baby.
Well, episode 20, thank you for tuning in.
Don't forget to vote. Don't forget to share it. Go to rtfsportsnetwork.com. Vote for us. Get it going. Sorrow, you better be voting every day. I know I have nice kicks. We love you, Twist Nation.